Well, Gaffer, last few games we've won them both. We've scored 7 goals, and I guess you said before about having the performance has been good, but we haven't got the results. And now we have got the results.
Performance is important. There's no doubt in my mind. Especially when you're in the position that we're in. Which is you're fighting for survival. You're just fighting. It's a relegation battle, and to get a performance out of a group of players, you've got to have belief. And I think that's what these sessions tonight. I think the belief comes from the training ground. It comes from what you're saying to them, the information that they're getting, and then you get buy-in from the players, and then all of a sudden they start doing the things that you're asking them to do or telling them to do. And I think we've witnessed that in the last couple of games. But we've played a couple of games where we've lost situations. And I'm going back to when we first came here, when we played Buxton and we lost in the last minute. We only got a draw against Alfreton. But the game on Saturday against Chester, we knew that they were capable of playing some good football. We knew that they were capable of causing us a problem when they had the ball. But we had to be about our mettle, both with and without the ball. And I think that was the pleasing thing about Saturday, when we got a clean sheet, and that clean sheet mentality got us to the win. But on Tuesday night, it was a backs to the wall kind of performance. We find ourselves having won the last game 3-0, thinking that not that we've cracked it or that it's easy by any stretch of the imagination. We've got to give the opposition a lot of credit. Macclesfield came into town looking for a fight, looking for a game of football, and they looked like they were up for it. So it wasn't a case of them lying down by any stretch of the imagination. But what it did show me is that we have spirit in the changing room. We've got players who can fight, but we've also got players who can play. And when we found ourselves in a first half situation, not even a first half, in the first 10-15 minutes, when you find yourself, a couple of little decisions went against us. A penalty went against us, and I thought it was a 50-50 challenge, to tell you the truth. Penalty goes against you, you find yourself 1-0 down against a team that's doing well against Premier League teams. And then the second one, a little bit of a head-height issue, with a player's foot up in my fullback's face. And then we don't get that one neither. So you're not going to get too many decisions. So you've got to roll your sleeves up, and we found ourselves 2-0 down with a mountain to climb. Get back to 2-1, give ourselves a little bit of hope, and then goes to 3-1. So you're staring at a 2-goal deficit at half-time, but then a little bit of magic from Luca Miller got us back to within fighting distance of a good team. And when we were 3-2, I thought, I'm going to say one or two harsh reminders and words at half-time, which is part and parcel of a manager's job, but to come out and respond in the way that the players did is admirable of the changing room. And I think it has to be said, the character of our changing room, whether we're pointing in the right direction or not, doesn't matter, but the character of our changing room will get us points, and that for me is a recipe for success when I know we've got the quality.
Yeah, in the next 2 games we are away, we're quite a fair way away from home as well. This weekend we're up against Chorley. We won at home 2-1. You were in charge that day as well.
Yeah.
We know what to expect from them.
I know what to expect of any Andy Priest teams. I know the lad very well, but he knows me very well as well. So it'll be one of them where you've got to fight for the inches, as it were. You're battling for every kind of decision. You want it to go your way, but fairly. But at the same time, you're battling against a side that can be physical if they want to be physical, but they can also play. And the play percentages, I think they get the ball into areas of the pitch that tend to hurt you at any level, that is, by the way, let alone National League North. They've got a couple of players missing, and one of them's a big goal scorer for them, big representative of them last season, and he finds himself with a red card last Saturday, so he'll be missing from Saturday, but they'll have a replacement for him, and that'll guarantee you that replacement. If he's playing centre half, he'll be 6'3". So we've got to be about our mettle. I think the way we addressed it at Pims Park early on in the season was we understood that if we win the free kick battle or the free kick challenge or the set piece challenge, you've got a chance of having a foothold in the game. That will remain. That without a shadow of a doubt on Saturday will be the case. But at the same time, in between them set pieces, in between the times where you've got to put your head on the ball in the 6-yard box, you've got to be able to play some football. And the renewed confidence that we've got, the renewed belief that we've got, borne out the fact we've just beaten 2 very good teams in our division. hopefully it'll stand us in good stead and give them a game. But first and foremost, I want to try and win the fight. If we win the fight, you've got a chance of winning the game.
Yeah, and what's the team news looking like? Obviously, Tuesday night we were without Elliot Whitehouse, obviously, because he wasn't allowed to play, so he'll be able to play this Saturday. How else is it looking on the injury front?
We've got, we had Anthony Stewart that couldn't play on Tuesday night and was ably replaced by a young lad, a young lad on loan. And a lot of people might have looked at that and gone, hold on a second, you've got a couple of more experienced lads there in Richard Farkey and Kevin Joshua. And I decided to plump for Zach Willis because he came to us as a centre-back, and I played him in a couple of positions. I played him as centre-back in a 3, but I played him in a sitting midfield role at Kings Lynn. And he gave a good account of himself. So there's something about the lad that I like, and I think it's the fight in him, regardless of the size. A lot of people say about, is it the size of the dog in the fight or the size of the fight in the dog? I tend to err on the side of it's the size of the fight in the dog. You can be a 5'9" fullback like Marcel Oakley is, and be a tenacious 5'9" fullback who doesn't get done at the back post type thing. That's the kind of spirit and that's the kind of heart and fight that I'm looking for. So whether it was a good decision at half time, it didn't matter. Come the end of the game, it was a good decision, and that's the most important part.